Snow didn't just fall over Antarctica in 1947, it screamed. Wind tore across endless sheets of white as compasses spun like they'd lost their minds, and engines froze mid-air. That year, the US Navy launched Operation Highjump, the largest Antarctic mission ever attempted. Officially, it was just research. Unofficially, something forced them to retreat, months early. What did Admiral Richard Byrd and his men see beneath the ice that scared them into silence? Stay till the end, because the truth about what happened under the Antarctic sky might rewrite everything we thought we knew about our planet. The story begins in the uneasy calm after World War II. August 1946. The war was over, but paranoia was not. The US Navy suddenly assembled 13 ships, 33 aircraft, and nearly 5,000 men for a training mission to Antarctica, led by the legendary Admiral Byrd, the man who'd already flown over both poles. But the scale didn't match the mission. You don't send aircraft carriers, destroyers, and submarines to study penguins. Something else was going on. Byrd's orders sounded simple. Set up a base called Little America for map the terrain, test equipment in extreme cold. But buried in the fine print was one chilling line: consolidate and extend American sovereignty over the largest practicable area. That didn't sound like science, it sounded like a land grab or a cover. Rumors quickly spread that the US wasn't just exploring, they were looking for something, because in 1938, just before the war, the Nazis had sent their own expedition to Antarctica, calling it Nordschwabenland. They claimed a vast stretch of land, dropped flags from planes, and, according to whispered accounts, found underground caves warmed by geothermal vents, perfect for secret bases. When Hitler fell, stories emerged that high-ranking Nazis had fled south, taking their most advanced aircraft designs and mysterious technologies with them. So when Admiral Byrd headed for the same frozen region in 1946, people started connecting dots that maybe weren't meant to be connected. For 2 months, the ice and sky became a battlefield between man and nature, and maybe something else. Temperatures plunged below -40 degrees Celsius, planes vanished, pilots crashed into walls of white nothingness. Crews spoke of magnetic anomalies that sent compasses spinning wildly. Then, abruptly, the mission ended. Operation Highjump, planned to last 6 months, was called off after only 8 weeks. The official explanation: unforeseen difficulties. But the unofficial story was much darker. After Byrd returned, he gave a strange interview to the Chilean newspaper El Mercurio. He warned that the US must prepare to defend itself against enemy aircraft that can fly from pole to pole at incredible speeds. What kind of enemy did he mean? No one knew, but the idea that planes could emerge from the polar regions and attack struck terror into readers. The timing was uncanny, just months before the modern UFO era began. Then came the whispers from within the operation itself, unverified but persistent claims that aircraft from Byrd's task force were attacked by flying discs, metallic objects emerging from the water, moving faster than anything built by humans. Some said the discs emitted energy beams that disabled engines and navigation systems, causing several crashes. The Navy never confirmed this, but they never completely denied it either. Was it Nazi technology, hidden under the ice, or something not of this earth? To understand why this theory stuck, you have to remember the time. The Cold War had just begun. The US and the Soviet Union were in a silent race, not just for weapons but for secrets. The skies were filled with experimental aircraft, governments were obsessed with silence, and Operation Highjump looked suspiciously like a military operation in disguise. Reconnaissance flights, heavy weapons, radio silence. Later declassified documents confirmed that the mission was meant to train troops for cold weather combat and to identify strategic locations for future bases, but nowhere did it explain the early withdrawal or why certain records were redacted for decades. Then came the alleged diary. Years after Byrd's death, a mysterious lost diary surfaced. In it, Byrd allegedly described flying beyond the South Pole and encountering a lush green valley in the middle of Antarctica. He claimed to have seen strange disc-shaped craft and to have met tall, human-like beings who warned humanity about nuclear weapons. The diary describes a world within the Earth, a hollow interior civilization. Most historians call the diary a hoax, but the imagery, the lush land beneath the ice, sparked one of the wildest theories ever conceived: the Hollow Earth theory. According to it, massive entrances at the poles lead to an inner world illuminated by a central sun, home to ancient civilizations, or even alien refuges. So what's real, and what's myth? Modern researchers who dug into Navy records found no evidence of aliens, Nazis, or hidden cities. What they did find was almost as fascinating. Operation Highjump wasn't about penguins or UFOs, it was about power. The US wanted to test how fast they could move men and machines to the planet's most extreme location. They were preparing for future global dominance, even in places no one could live. The sudden end of the operation, likely due to human limits, broken equipment, frostbite, and a string of fatal crashes. Nature had beaten technology, but that doesn't explain everything. Portions of Byrd's final report remain classified. Some flight logs were destroyed. Even the Navy's internal communications about the operation remained sealed or heavily redacted. Why hide routine data from a scientific expedition? The next twist came a decade later. In 1959, the world's powers, including the US and the Soviet Union, signed the Antarctic Treaty. It banned all military activity, nuclear testing, and resource exploitation on the continent. Think about that. The only place on Earth where nations agreed instantly to stop claiming land, building bases, or digging into the ground. A continent locked in peace while the rest of the world raced toward war. Coincidence or pact? Some say it's proof that the great powers found something beneath the ice, something that terrified them enough to keep it secret. Even today, satellite scans show vast anomalies buried under Antarctica's thick ice. Heat sources hundreds of miles long, perfectly geometric formations, massive radar voids that swallow signals. Scientists call them natural formations or subglacial volcanoes, but to conspiracy theorists, they're the entrances Admiral Byrd spoke of, sealed shut ever since. Before his death in 1957, Byrd made one final, haunting remark: the greatest exploration of all lies not upon the surface of the Earth, but beneath it. To this day, that sentence sends shivers through anyone who's ever studied Operation Highjump. Was he talking about geology or something far deeper? Ancient myths from Tibet to Scandinavia speak of inner worlds, hidden kingdoms like Agartha or Shambhala, lands beneath the surface ruled by advanced beings. For centuries, explorers have claimed to search for their entrances near the poles. What if Byrd's fleet, armed with bombs and guns, stumbled upon something they couldn't understand, something human eyes weren't meant to see? Whether you believe in secret Nazi bases, lost civilizations, or government cover-ups, one fact remains: Antarctica holds more mysteries than answers. 98% of the continent is buried under ice thicker than skyscrapers. It hides mountains taller than the Alps, lakes that haven't seen sunlight in millions of years, and heat signatures scientists can't explain. And through it all, the world's most powerful nations continue to guard it like a vault. No mining, no private exploration, just silence. Operation Highjump became more than a mission. It became a warning. Whatever happened out there made the world's strongest navy turn back. Whatever Admiral Byrd saw, he couldn't explain it without sounding insane. And whatever lies frozen under the ice has remained untouchable ever since. So maybe the question isn't what's down there, but why we're not allowed to find out. Because sometimes, the most chilling secrets aren't buried in time, they're buried in ice. If this story kept you thinking, hit like so others can uncover it too. Subscribe for more real-world mysteries that history tried to freeze. And tell us in the comments, what do you think Operation Highjump really found under the ice?